Hello everyone, this is Calvin from Team Silverback, aka Cheeks McClapperty. Today I came in 23rd place at the Long Island Regional, and I was playing Mitsurugi Orcust. So let's go into the profile, like, subscribe, comment, do whatever, press the bell if you do. Starting off with the Orcust half of the engine, I have 3 copies of Girsu, 3 copies of Harpor, and 1 copy of Foolish Burial for all the Orcust starters. Then for engine requirements, we have 1 Symbol Skeleton, 1 Crown, 1 Babel, 1 Crescendo. We have a lot of engine requirements for both engines, which means that having a smaller count of as many as you can is not a bad idea. So that lead me to cut out the Nightmare as well as the World Wand. They are not needed for your regular 1-card Girsu, 1-card Harpor, 1-card Foolish combo. So it's kind of redundant, it adds more bricks, and they are very corner case cards in the current format. Nobody plays Return. If you see somebody play Return, they're probably not very good. Next, for the Mitsurugi engine, we have 3 copies of Habakiri, 3 copies of Prayers, 3 copies of Pre-Prep as your starters. Then for your engine requirements, you play 1 each of Murakumo, Saji, Aramasa, Kusanagi, Ritual, Mirror, and Purification. Originally, I was playing a much smaller variation. I wasn't playing either the Aramasa or the Kusanagi, but throughout testing, I realized that if I get cut from one engine or the other, there was more cards needed in order to be able to have the recursion as well as the strong enough pushes through interaction and getting all the different pieces into rotation so that you can properly bridge the 2 engines. Next, we're going to go to all the non-engine. There's a lot. There's 18. Triple Ash, Triple Fulos, Triple Ghost Bell, Triple Droplet, Triple Imperm, and Triple Impulse. So the choices for each of these cards are fairly self-explanatory, but I will quickly run through. Ash Blossom is really good going first against Molcharmies, and then going second into the Dracotail matchup, as well as certain Maliss traps. Fulos was something I never really ended up drawing. When I did draw, my opponents were smart. They only gave me 1 or 2 cards, and anytime they gave me more, I immediately won. Bell is really good going into games 2 and 3 if your opponent may be on Bestials, because it stops them from Bestialing your cards, as well as it's really good against the Dracotail matchup. Forbidden Droplet was used less for monster negation. It was actually used against the Dracotail matchup because if you hard open one of your power spells from Mitsurugi, for example, your pre-preparation, your prayers, etc., you can chain it to basically dodge the targeted negation and then take care of the Malulu if it is on field. Imperm, it's a targeted negation. It's pretty self-explanatory. Good going first and second. And Impulse is fantastic in this deck because all of your engine requirements and pretty much the entire extra deck are all dark monsters. The cards I cited out most frequently were the Impermanence for other cards, as well as the Fulos when I would go first. So that does it for the main deck. It's 45 cards, 18 non-engine, and if I remember correctly, it is 16 or 17 starters. Next, for the extra deck. A lot of people who are playing Mitsurugi Orcust or Orcust competitively right now are going to disagree with a lot of these choices. I realistically went into less than half of the extra deck. If I played with an 8-card extra deck, it would have made no difference for me today. So I played 2 Galatea 1, 3 Galatea 2, Long Girsu, and Little Girsu, and 3 Ding Girsu. Most players who are playing this deck right now are only going to play one, and maybe 2 Galateas. I feel that there is a lot of things you could add in. 100%, I agree. I would rather have the ability to keep playing with engine, and sometimes having additional copies of things actually helped me break boards, and it helped me a lot in the grind game. I had no issues realizing that I'm suddenly missing something from my extra deck that I shouldn't be having there, so it didn't really hurt to have the extra copies of stuff that I wanted. For non-Orcust stuff, we have IP, SP. IP I never summoned, SP I summoned a couple of times. Dark I never summoned today, but realistically it does come up if you're playing against Maliss and you need to make extra pushes. Dynamondo is a going first tool in game 1. If you open the Mitsurugi engine and you have a Fualos in hand, you get Fualos. You give them 2 draws, and you can, in their draw phase, summon back your Murakumo by tributing the Dynamondo, activate your own Fualos, and now you're drawing into more hand traps. Last card was Zombie Vampire. I only summoned it once today, and it hit me absolutely nothing. So clean 15 for the extra. There's no changes that I would make. I just simply am happy with what I have in here. Some of the cards I didn't summon could have been other things. There were a point in time where I really wish I had an access code talker or a Gorgon, because I needed to out an unaffected Dragon that Devours the Dogma, but that is, the only other thing I could think of. Side deck. 3 copies of Droll. This would go in against Mitsurugi. This would go in against certain Yummy variants. I never saw this card once today, and I still ended up doing well enough, so that's fine. Perulia. It is something that I would typically put in instead of my Imperms in the main deck when I was going second. It ended up working out fairly well when I did see it. I never ended up being able to double charming anyone, but sometimes in certain matchups it gave me just enough draws to be able to make pushes, and it made them play kind of weird. 3 Retaliating Z. This was supposed to be for the Dracotail matchup. I never once saw it today. Then my go first cards that I would side out my Fualoses in games 2 and 3. I had the Holy Trinity, Judgment, Triple Tack, and Called by the Grave. This card was glued to my hand. I opened both of these cards 2 rounds in a row, felt absolutely insane. I only saw Judgment once, and it won me the game. Then the last 3 cards, I had 3 flex spots. I put in evenly matched. This was just because I was going to a place I wasn't familiar with the players. I figured I'd be playing against Stun or some sort of Odeon variant, something that played a lot of back row that I wouldn't be able to naturally chew through. I did play a Sky Striker player today who ended up actually in the top 4. I ended up beating him, and I did not need the evenly matched, even though I did side it in. Thank you all so much for watching, and once again, please like and subscribe.